I lived 44 years without truly being myself. I mean, yeah, I knew how to show up. I knew how to perform. I knew how to serve. I knew how to minister. I was an amazing mom, a great wife, an awesome therapist. I even tried my hand at gardening. I was good at entertaining. I was good at putting things together. I was good at being a fixer, a nurturer, the funny one. And I wore those badges like I was so proud of them. I was proud of them because they were the badges that defined me. It was like my name badge that I was so proud to wear. But the crazy thing is that without all those badges, I didn't even know who I was when I did not have that audience. The reason why is because I let people define me. And the scary thing about it is I believed the things that people said about me. Even the bad things, even the things that people may have said about me when I was in high school or college or as an adult, the things that mean people and bullies said about me, the things that my ex may have said about me. I began to believe those things, the things that even my parents said about me. They were layers on top of layers on top of layers that were being camouflaged by all the great things that people were saying. And you know what? I was a mess because their validation, their praise, their deciding of what I was worth, their presence, that was my worth. And when it was missing, when they were not giving me that validation, I was missing too. So I just spent so many years just identifying myself through other people's eyes. I was a reflection of who they said I was. But sometimes when these relationships ended, it would leave a void inside of me. And I would go looking for another person to plug into that void or go looking for another thing to plug into that void. Let me tell you something. I spent money. Sometimes I would spend money buying friends, but more importantly that, I spent money on hypnosis. I spent money on some tones. I spent money on camps. I spent money on coaches, more coaches, more coaches. I spent money on self-help books. I spent money on therapists. I spent money on retreats. I spent money on vacations. I spent money on purses that I didn't need. I spent money on clothes. I spent money on stuff. I spent money on all these stuff because when these things got ended or when they broke or when they just became quiet or when people began to dissolve, when I finally was left alone and I had to sit in it, and I had to sit with myself, with all those things done, I didn't recognize who I was. But because behind all those things that I had buried myself in, behind all those trash strategies that I had tried to make me, right? I began trying to put myself in these things. I've been trying to hypnotize myself. I've been trying to mind map myself. I've been trying to do the tapping. I tried everything, but it did not fix the problem that I had with me. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you can go all over the world. You can even read the Bible 6 times through. You can pray every night. But if there is not one thing that you need, as long as you are living on this earth, you need to live with a relationship, a good relationship with yourself. Because that's the only thing you're able to take with you everywhere you go. That's the only person that's going to sustain you. That's the only person that's going to cheer for you. That's the only person that's going to make you eat right. That's the only person that's going to make you exercise. That's the only person that's going to make you get your rest. That's the only person that's going to cause you to be just fulfilled. You. And because I had placed all of these things, all these important things in the hands of other people, in the hands of other things, in the hands of other ideas, in the hands of programs, I was trusting everything else except for me. I had no idea that I had everything inside of me to be the person that I was equipped to be. But everyone else saw it. So what was the problem? I used to think that, I wouldn't be able to make it without a man. I wouldn't be able to make it without a relationship. But then one day, I was having a breakdown. A full-fledged breakdown. It was a Wednesday. I remember it like it was yesterday. I came to work and I said to one of my fellow coworkers, I said, you know what? I am going back on a dating website. And he said, no, you're not. And I was like, why? Are you jealous? And he's like, no, there is something that you are looking for. And I said, what is it? He said, I really think what you should do is you should videotape yourself. You shouldn't talk to nobody. Like, you should stop talking on the phone, stop talking to people, stop going out, stop doing all those kind of stuff, and come face to face with you. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. But that moment when I got home, that first day, I didn't have just a breakdown, but you'll see the video. It was more so of a breakthrough. I started talking. I started talking to me. I started telling me things I never told my mom. I started telling things that I never told my therapist, my kids, my best friend, my husband. I started telling myself things that I never even told God. Yes, because I never even told myself. These are things that have been sweeping under the rug, pretending that it never exists. But guess what? It was still programmed in my brain. It was part of my memory, and it was defining my relationship that I had with myself. It was defining me. And to me, that version of me that day, it was unacceptable. It was unacceptable. It was like I had been masking. And you know what masks are? It's like something you put on so that you don't have to recognize yourself, so you can disguise to be someone else. I had been masking just so that I could relate with the world that I lived in, because I wasn't ready to pull off my own mask in my own house when nobody was looking to see me. I had to unlearn those lies that I had been telling myself. I had to begin to say, you're the one you need. I had to begin programming myself, because as I began to break down in these videos, I saw parts of me that I did not want to see. They were embarrassing. There were things that I felt like didn't matter, but when they began to come up in the face of myself, because I kept my video on the face, like I didn't have like the back video on, so I looked face to face with myself. And as I began to talk to myself, I began to look in my eyes. I saw hurt in my eyes. I saw sadness in my eyes. I saw joy in my eyes. Sometimes I even saw confusion in my eyes. But then when I saw those things in my own eyes, I began to relate to those eyes as if I was relating to a person. It was in those days between February 20th and March 26th that I began to see and relate to me the way that I wanted people to relate to me. It was that same thing that I was desiring for other people to do to me that I began to learn to do for myself. So instead of planning a party at the age of 45, I said, I'm going to have a destination. I'm going to have a milestone achieved. By the time I turn 45, I'm going to give myself the gift of validation. Yes, validation means that I'm saving a lot of money. I'm not doing things I used to do just to make myself feel good. I'm not being in places that I used to go into just to make myself feel good and then later feel bad. I began to show up for myself. And for my 45th birthday, I didn't throw a party. I gave myself a present. I gave myself my time. I gave myself grace. I gave myself peace. I gave myself joy. I gave myself laughter. And I gave myself wholeness. Because now when I show up in situations, I'm not looking for someone to come plug in their piece that might be wrong to my puzzle to make me complete. I have all the pieces of my puzzle, all the different pieces of my life, all the different pieces of my story. They may be scrambled up because I don't even see the full picture yet, because God hasn't shown me exactly who I'm really going to be, but all the pieces are there. There's nothing missing out of me. And when I realized that before my birthday, when I turned 45, I began to jump for joy. I mean, I was jumping so hard on that porch that the whole house was shaking. And I was like, yes! Well, I don't want to give it away because you guys are going to see that video too. But validation is something that you cannot put a price tag on. But it's something that we give authority over to everybody else when we could be doing it for ourselves. Why give control to somebody or something when you can have it all for yourself? You can turn it on when you want to turn it on. You can turn it off when you want to turn it off. And that's why I'm here. I'm here because I desire the same thing for you. And if you're watching this video, there might be a piece or two or three that are missing. They may have fallen to the floor and you may not even know where they are anymore. But guess what? Those pieces can be restored. Those pieces can be drawn back in. Those pieces can be repurposed for your life by you. You don't have to find someone to plug those pieces in. Those pieces are designed to be drawn by you because you already know what that picture is supposed to look like. You know what pieces are missing. And it's time for you to show up for you and you to fully validate yourself the way that you desire other people to validate you. So I know that many of you have spent a huge part of your life by being the version of you that other people wanted you to be or expected you to be. But now it's time for you to show up for you. As you watch these videos and a series of videos that I have made that I am now putting together so that you can experience my journey and hopefully start a journey for yourself, I want you to remember something. Your validation is a gift that you get to pass on to your next generation. Your validation is a gift you get to take to work with you and show up and be the best owner, coworker, employee that that company has ever had. Your validation that you give to you is what's going to make you rise to the top on every single ladder that you decide to climb. Because you have the power to do the things that you never thought you could do. But when you're fully you and you're using all the tools, the grace, the peace, the love, the joy, the fullness, all of that that's already in you, and you're not relying on Billy Bob to come bring you any part of that because he has nothing to do with that, and you are able to show up in your wholeness, this world has no words for you. You are going to be unstoppable, unmovable, unshakable, always abiding in the works that God has planned for you to do today in your lifetime. And so I just urge you just to use this as a guide. You don't have to do it exactly how I do it, but whatever it is that the Spirit may lead on you or that you feel led to do, do it. Because you and your future self and your younger self, all of those things make up you, are going to appreciate this gift that you give to yourself. Please like, subscribe, pass on, share, and I would love to see your comments that you have for me as I am able to help guide you through this process. Thank you.